No matter how good you are, if your hijab isn't right, especially if you don't wear hijab at all, it's useless. Is that true? One of the main objectives of the Sharia or Masajid Syar'i is to maintain honor or hifzul ard. That's why when there was an incident that disturbed the wife of the Prophet, the Quran was revealed in Surah Al-Ahzab verse 59, which ordered the wives of the Prophet to extend their headscarf. It is also be noted that at the time, both Muslims and non-Muslims women wore headscarves, but they still showed body parts that could invite lust. Because of that, in the Quran Surah Al-Ahzab was strengthened again. In the Quran Surah An-Nur verse 31, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered to extend the veil to cover her chest. From the two verses above, it is clear that the command to extend the veil is an effort for two things. First, to maintain honor, and secondly, as the identity of a Muslim woman. Well, actually, the hijab or woman headscarf has been known to the public since the Hebrew era, namely the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam until the birth of the Anno Domini period. The hijab was a common garment in the Mesopotamian or Mediterranean region. According to Al-Zarkashi, there's a lot of evidence that several important cities in Roman and Greek times were wearing costumes that all covered limbs except for the eyes. Hijab in the pre-Islamic times was more often associated with the upper-class lifestyle among peasants and immigrants, which was a pre-Islamic traditions in Shira and custom among Jews, Christians, and Sassanians. In North Africa, the hijab has become a silencer for women in the general public sphere. In Yemen, the hijab is a symbol of social strata. For noble women, wear sharshaf, a type of hijab that made from silk. Meanwhile, women from lower economic status tend to wear sitara. When Islam came, the hijab was a tradition that was passed down from generations to generations without a clear purpose being known. Then Islam redefined the hijab as a sharia that has a noble moral goal, namely the liberations of protections and politeness. However, what is a hijab? Well, this is where we can see the diversity of Islamic scholars' opinion. According to Ibn Mas'ud, hijab is a woman's long dress or clothing called rida, a coat or a robe that is known by Muslim women. The Book of Al-Minhaj defines the hijab as a white garment or garment. In the Book of Al-Mufradat by Raqib Isfani, it is stated that the hijab is a dress or a veil. According to Abu al-Ghifari, the hijab is a proof of the nobility of a woman's character that must reflect the inner behavior that always hopes for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. According to Yusuf al-Qardawi, the hijab has a functions to cover and to maintain modesty. According to al-Ashmawi, the jilbab or hijab is a cultural rather than a religious imperative. Even Al-Ashmawi said loudly that the hadith that are referenced to the jilbab or hijab obligations are Sunday hadith that cannot be used as a permanent legal basis. While we can see the diversity of opinions about the hijab, some places more emphasize on the physical hijab, and some put more emphasis on its functions, meaning, and purposes. The diversity of understanding also occurs in the interpreting the limitations of the hijab in Surah An-Nur, verse 31. The hijab should cover women's jewelry, namely the whole body, except ma zuhara minha. The majority of Islamic scholars understand that this sentence means normal and or openness is required so that it must be visible. Wahbah al-Zuhaili uses fiqh style to interpret that what must be covered in the whole body except the face. With the interpretations of Ijma-e-Adab, Muhammad Quraish Shihab interprets that what is commonly seen at each time and each place can be different. From these interpretations, hijab standards can be very different according to the politeness standards of each context. But from this diversity of interpretations of the hijab, the spirit is the same, namely the spirit of Maqasid Shar'i, or the main goal of Sharia, namely protections, religious protections, protections of self, and protections of honor. So, do you have any other views regarding this hijab? Please share in the comments, Kalam.